Hello, my name is Sheldon. Welcome back for another episode of Victoria 3 as, well, we started at Prussia, now we're North German Federation. And, well, I mean, we're starting to be pretty strong. We've got a little bit colony going in here still, although it's basically not expanding all that much. We are going to be getting the water tube boiler, which is going to allow us to do a lot more mining. It will also need a lot more tools, which is something that we need to take care of. But then, of course, we are going to be getting the quinine over here. First the pharmaceuticals, then quinine. So that way we can start colonizing in Africa a lot faster. And then we can start perhaps expanding in there as well. Maybe not too much initially, but at least get things moving. We're getting the extra food industry in Brandenburg. Actually, is that... so the one in Saxony, I suppose that does have a little bit of boost on the construction sector. But there's a lot of turmoil in there. Of course, the market access is so tiny in comparison. We're getting a shipyard in Mecklenburg, some glassworks, textile mills, another iron mine, that's good. Now we've got quite a few railways underway. I suppose that's another thing that I could do. Quickly build up a railway down here. Well, I say quickly. Eventually is more likely the correct answer here. So we've still got a little bit of deficit. It's not too bad. We have reduced the taxes down to medium, though. So that is partially the reason. Is there any better... Oh, tobacco tax would be really good. There we go. Is there anything else that would be fairly... Oh yeah, coffee is another one. And then the wine tax is okay. Okay, then now we are making money. Good. And then we've got food industry. That is going to be built fairly shortly. We are trying to pass the landed voting law. There's no real opposition for it. But there is a fairly high chance of debate, which is usually a bit of a coin flip of whether you get a good or bad stuff from it. So it might take a while before it passes, but I'm pretty sure that we can at least pass that law at some point. The standard of living for middle strata is not particularly great. Partially because we don't really have that much... Actually, do we have silk in the market? We do have a little bit, okay. Is that silk being brought in by trade? Or... yeah, it's a trade. I'm going to try to import some of that through China. We can probably import a lot more, but that means that we can go ahead and, for example, in our capital... Oh, wait, actually, where do we have textile mills? We've got 8 levels over there in Silesia. But 8 levels at once might be too much. Oh, this one's already using some silk. Okay. I forgot about that. Right, well, let's go ahead and maybe switch this one to the... Ah, right, it's actually predicted to make a bit less money because the clothing... Yeah, we're not going to do that quite yet. But we're still going to import a bit more silk, I suppose. But once we get the mechanized workshop, that's going to be then probably time to switch another one of or more textile mills to provide at least some more luxury clothing. Because we do need a decent chunk of it. Although actually, no, we don't need that much. We've got a surplus. Never mind then. Steel on the other hand is something that we do still need a lot. We're going to get at least one over here in Silesia, because that's going to be a fairly nice location. Because it produces iron and coal in there. Ooh, gold depleted in West Borneo. Alright then. Let me just double check who is actually part of the market now. So there is... Oh, right, yeah, Indonesia. There's a lot of things in there. And of course, there's the Dutch East Indies and Netherlands. And then, of course, there's a few nations in Germany. There we go. Now we're getting the government administration in Saxony. Then we're going to move the road maintenance thing to... Well, actually, we might want to get the railway in Saxony built as well. Because I know that the infrastructure in there is quite rubbish currently. There's so many things in there that they're trying to... Actually, there's a whole lot of rye farms. I'm going to go ahead and start to privatize some of these. And then the livestock ranches we can probably privatize. And the vineyards. So some of those might actually lose a few levels once they have been purchased, but that's fine. That's going to then reduce the extra on the... or extra strain on the infrastructure. So I think that's actually going to be a good idea. And we are accumulating a bit of cash now. We are getting £4,000 per week, plus whenever we sell some buildings. Ooh, Tuscany supports Italian unification. Crooked connections. Trade unions would not like that if we use it, but I think we're going to do that anyway. So we can roll more often on this law. So eventually it will pass. Now, is there any other companies that we can actually form right now that would actually be profitable? Or would increase the prosperity in a reliable manner? You know what? Getting the extra infrastructure from population, that's actually not bad. I don't know if that's going to be actually profitable. We'll do that anyway. And it'll definitely increase the productivity a bit further. So where is that? That's in Elbe. Or Elbe. So that would be down here then. Yep, there it is. They're still hiring, but they are going to be making a decent money, I reckon. Junkers are no longer powerful. Oh, and the rule folk aren't quite as upset, so that might actually improve the infrastructure levels already in Saxony a bit further. Perhaps not quite enough. I'm sure that that is still quite helpful. So the administration building... Oh, and there's modern storage unlocked. There we go, so even more infrastructure. Well, I suppose the other one hasn't really kicked in yet. But that is definitely going to be helping already. And that does also mean that we'll be constructing even more, just one building at a time. But I suppose, yeah, it's just... yeah, it's focusing on Brandenburg right now. So I suppose what I could do... I'm going to actually quickly focus down the railway. And then we can switch the focus back to Brandenburg. We'll even get the railway in Brandenburg afterwards. Or after the food industries. So that does mean that we won't be getting the company for the food thing yet. But that's fine. So they are actually getting prosperity, so that's good. And then we'll be getting the boost over here, so that's going to be another up to 20 infrastructure per state. Plus any extra modifiers that we might have. Can we... No, we can't increase any of the institutions right now. Plus we might have to remove one of the taxes at some point. Or something. Because we are going to be running a bit low on authority. Or we could start removing some of the encouraged industries and all that. Those tend to be quite useful in terms of the extra production, though. Especially more you build in there, the more bonus they give. In certain sense. So that is something that we might want to focus on. But yeah, there's still Saxony and Hesse that have a bit of market access issues. Although Saxony is getting better and better now. Iron shortage is still definitely a thing. We didn't inherit any extra construction sectors though, did we? Maybe one, but that's about it. Probably have a look at the resources. So, Holstein, Schleswig-Holstein, that's just logging and fishing, and then some farmlands and all that. They do have a bit of industries in there, mind you. Democracy without the people. Runners of the universal suffrage have argued that the ongoing reform to landed voting is an insufficient compromise, excluding many people from their right to participate in democracy. And clearly it's a stepping stone on the road to universal suffrage. It might get your vote eventually. Might. There we go, we've got already 24 million in GDP, so that is, well, it's not growing all that quickly yet. But things are still, like, we don't have that much construction speed yet. Although, now we got the money, so we could probably afford, because there's quite a bit of money going into the investment pool already. So, do we have... I suppose we could go ahead and just get another government or construction sector over here in Silesia. They are still having... well, actually, no, they've got plenty of infrastructure now. There's a bit of starvation going on, but yeah, let's go ahead and get that to the top of the list. That will only take a few weeks. And then the railway... Well, I suppose the railway is going to be building at the same level as usual. Although, it is actually improved now. So the radicals, well, we have reduced some of that. We don't have enough loyalists comparatively yet. But the standard of living is improving, and there's no longer turmoil in the states that we own, which is very handy. Now, I do wonder, is there anyone that I could offer embassy by chance? Sweden? Oh. Sure. We'll do that one. And the United Tribes? I might not want to step on Britain's toes quite yet. We might have to do that at some point, but... Oh, there we go. So Sweden might then eventually join our power block. Which, you know, I wouldn't actually be opposed to them conquering Denmark. To at least some degree. Forming Scandinavia and all that. Now, we do eventually want to do a bit of fighting against Russia as well. But right now, they are kind of a useful ally. Might not be that for too long. But how is the... so we own 20 states of the 23 required. Oh, hydraulic cranes is spreading. It's not quite hydraulic press though. But yeah, so now we are starting to have a little bit extra bureaucracy. That's very nice. Is there any other buildings that we could perhaps change the production methods in? Not really. At least not significantly. But even at the extra construction that we just got, we are still making a pretty decent money. We don't really have enough to reduce it. Well, I suppose we could remove the wine tax, maybe. Is there anything else? The luxury clothing would be slightly better than that. But it's not, well, it's not actually that far from the coffee tax. That's almost 2,700 though. There we go, there's a tech sample underway. We are getting the railway in Saxony soon enough. And there's also an iron mine in Hanover, although that's not getting done very quickly. So is Hanover actually having some... Oh, they are having some turmoil in there. Is that because of starvation? Not necessarily. Opposition members put forth demands. Landowners would lose a little bit of support or approval. We could get this minus 15% inaccurate time, but minus 5% success chance. I think we're just going to make the landowners a bit upset. But we can then at least get a bit further along there. So what's the private sector building now? They're building the iron mine, then cotton plantation, then motor industries. Oh, that's actually going to be quite handy. And we did sell at least a few things. We probably still have way too many... Yeah, we've still got way too many buildings that we own. We can probably go ahead and just sell these. Actually, at this point, I might just go ahead and go for the buildings. That's the wrong side of things. Where's the farms? Rye farms. Let's privatize all the farms. That's going to give us a bit more food in the market. Which actually, we're not too bad right now, I reckon. Yeah, but there's a little bit shorter still, about 500. I suppose once more and more are purchased by private individuals, we'll have more available. And of course, that is going to reduce the amount of bureaucracy needed. So that is going to be quite handy. There's still quite a bit of demand for iron. I suppose another thing that I could do, so there's one more building, or one more iron mine being built in Hanover currently. Oh, right, we got this stuff in Saxony done. Let's move the road maintenance to Brandenburg. So we can get these built a bit faster. That's going to be very good. And how's the research? The water tube boiler is still a few months away. We definitely do need to get some more innovation. We got 5 levels of university already in the capital. I'm going to go ahead and build some in Westphalia, because that's going to be another fairly high industrialized area. So we'll build another university there. Because especially when they've got a lot of coal miners and iron mines, so they can do a lot of the sort of heavier industry side of things. We can get another 2 universities in there. That's going to get us to like 84 maybe? Or somewhere thereabouts anyway. Right, so who do I actually have as rivals? Spain and Ottomans. I do not want to rival Austria, even though they have rivaled me. Because I can then slowly but surely improve our relations with them. Well, maybe not yet, but at least we're slowing down the speed that things are going downwards in there. I do wonder though, so if I was to... Let's actually take a look at the nation forming again. So we need 3 more states, of which there's some states that are split, like the Schleswig-Holstein. And then there's Württemberg, that is split between Hohenzollern. Actually, how is our vassal doing anyway? We could just annex them. There's a good chance that they will accept. They might get a few helping nations there. But we're going to go for that, I think. Oh, so begins. Who's... Yeah, they might get a few nations helping them. Nothing too bad, though. But if Bavaria joins in the enemy side, we can then just go ahead and take some of the states from them. And thus we can then perhaps form Germany already. Even without the help of Austria. Assuming that Austria doesn't interfere with this war. So there is also... Oh, Mexico is fighting a war. I don't need to be focusing on that one. Standard of living is still a little bit of a... Well, low currently. And we'll get the first army that's... that doesn't have a lot of artillery, actually. Where did we... Oh, right, there's another army over here. That one's got a bit more. We'll mobilize that one. I don't think there's... Yeah, there's no front lines to send the troops into yet. So we'll see who joins in on this one. They want war operations. I just want to annex them. We may need to violate some... Oh, hey, there we go. Law progress to consideration. We need to violate some neutralities to actually reach there. Which is mostly Baden, I suppose. I'm not entirely sure how that is actually done. I've never had to do it. Oh, France is colonizing in Niger. I'm in there. Are they on the other side, or... Good question. I don't know where they are, actually. Well, regardless, our colony over there is slowly growing. So they haven't actually gotten help. They are still uncertain. I could actually ask Bavaria to join me. Oh, right, they are preferring Hohenzollern. Okay, we'll wait if they join in. Like, if not, we can probably just violate the sovereignty. I believe Baden is going to be the one that will do that on. And then just so we can conquer Hohenzollern. That's going to give us a bit of land there, which is admittedly going to be a bit separated. I wouldn't mind if they got someone to help them, to be fair, but I think the nations potentially helping Hohenzollern do not want to fight me. So that is that. We definitely need to get some more iron. Is that right? We're getting the railway in Brandenburg. Excellent. That's going to provide a bit of cheaper transportation in there. With just one army. Oh, organized crime. We'll put in some funds to that. Water tube boilers almost done. They did not get any help. Right. So now, Baden. Can I violate sovereignty? They would not accept, which I believe is going to push them on the enemy side. Ah, they would go to war with me. I don't know, what does the... No, it's probably going to drop relations with a lot of nations. But we're going to have to do that anyway, to get in there. They refused. Oh, never mind. Austria joined in. Okay, so let's have a look. I can't put in any more war goals. But we're fighting against Austria, which does have quite an army. I suppose we need to activate our big armies then. This one... Oh, it's all just one front line. Never mind then. I guess we'll activate all and just send them in there. That's a decent bit in there. I think we may need to slow down for a moment. And then let's have a look at the armies in here. So I might want to just focus first. The big army could maybe do the attacking, because that's mostly focused on that. But the others I'm going to put on the defense front, so that the enemy can't just punch through either. We're also going to need a bit more taxes, I reckon. But we do have the advantage in here, I think. The enemy is going to be attacking with a lot of troops, though. So perhaps we should let them do the first attack. We'll defend the front line, while we are getting more and more troops in here. I don't know if the enemy is actually daring to attack. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. There's no active battles yet. Ooh, there's a water tube boilers. Right, let's go ahead and activate that on the mines. Now, of course, does require a lot more tools. So let's go to Westphalia and build another 2 tooling workshops, I think. We can eventually sell those, of course. Speaking of which, do we still have a whole lot of buildings that we probably don't want to hold on to, or don't need to hold on to? Let's privatize all the livestock ranches. The millet farms we could probably privatize. Admittedly, a lot of the industry we probably could privatize. But actually, no, we're not going to privatize the fertilizer plants yet. I don't know how much of those, well, most of those we don't actually own anyway. The paper mills, we got quite a few. We're going to hold on to those because that's going to be potentially another company that we might want. Not entirely sure, but that's at least worth holding on to, I reckon. Okay, so the enemy should be getting a lot of troops in here. Are we... Ah, right, so there should be a battle. Yeah, they're attacking us. So we've got a much better defense than their offense. So they are going to be taking massive casualties. And basically what I'm going to do here, initially at least, is I'm just going to outlast them in the war. A lot of the allies will start losing a lot of war support, I reckon. While we just defend, and eventually we can then just, like, especially if Austria drops out of the war. That'd be nice. Oh, it is down here in Frankfurt, even. But they're lost, we're exhausted, but we are defeating them in the combat. Oh, now they got surprise maneuver. But that's not going to save them, especially when we've got more than twice the manpower and still in the combat. About 3 times the manpower now. Plus we've got a lot higher defense than their offense, so we're in a pretty good shape there. Got another battle happening in here. That's going to be probably another victory. Although that's probably going to be a lot closer, I dare say. But yeah, that's going to be a victory there. That's going to be the first victory, at least. And the second one, we are definitely winning that. It's just not going to go all that quickly. Let's have a look at the Austrian war support. Is that going down slowly? But yeah, the enemy side is taking a lot more wounded, or casualties in general. There's another 2 battles, which we are still winning. I mean, we start with more battalions in most of these combats anyway. So that's already a massive boost for us. And of course, we have better troop quality than they do. We do have the armed forces still quite happy, so that's the extra 10% defense in there, which is very handy. And the enemy casualties are just going to be massively higher than ours. They lost more wounded than we've lost wounded and dead total. And then, of course, they got the dead over there on top of that. They actually had almost as much dead as we had wounded. Oh dear, debate fails, so the landed voting is not going forward quite yet. We do have... Oh, got a little bit of authority available right now. I wonder, is there... Oh, the luxury clothing tax wouldn't be too bad. But no, I think we're going to hold on to that authority right now. Enactment time is reduced because of that. So we might get the landed voting slightly faster. Well, there's another combat. That just ended. And that's another combat. If you want peace... Sure, Luxembourg is the enemy. We're getting the armed forces even happier. So that's good. An exile at the gates. Wilhelm Gerdeler. Brigadier General. Who is this? This is currently in exile. Sure. We can become a North German. Now, how is the... Right, Brandenburg's getting the railway, then we're going to get a few other railways built. With all help. Silk Merchant's son. Freshly re-entered politics, Ferdinand Lassalle has been invited to make public addresses on the constitution of the North German state. Moral primacy of the law belongs to the worker. Or constitutional matters are merely a question of power. Petit bourgeoisie would get a bit more power that way. Or we get more popularity. You know, we'll get the petty bourgeoisie a bit more power. They're part of the government right now. So that's going to improve our legitimacy maybe a tiny bit. We still have a whole lot of radicals. Partially because of the tax increase. So is the enemy... They are going to be attacking again, right? Our side is actually doing attacking, okay. Oh, this is a new general. Right, okay. Which army is that part of? Over here. Right, okay. Well, I mean, I suppose this is a small battle. We might actually win this. We've got higher attack than they got defense. Both sides are exhausted. Their side... Well, it started with the same amount of troops, actually. It's going to be a close one, though. It's going to be a very close one. We might start occupying it parts of Austria, I suppose. Very, very small parts of it, though. But they've got actually less war support than I do. They've already taken so much casualties. Losing 2 per week war support, so that's already pretty good. The others aren't really that much of a problem yet, but they will be. Oh, so that's where we're attacking. Okay. That's potentially clearing out part of the Bavarian Rhineland, then. Unfortunately, we couldn't take anything else in this war. And this area is actually not going to be part of the... Well, actually, no, it will be part of the market, doesn't it? Because these are then going to be part of the market again. But it will be under our control, at least. Actually, I don't know if they will be part of the market, now that I think of it. No, they will be. We can apparently have fighting within... Oh. Defensive pact with Sweden? Sure, I will take it. Would that then mean that we could perhaps then eventually call them into the power block? We don't have enough leverage yet. But if we did, it might be possible. I think we are going to be able to call Sweden in eventually. Now that'd be huge. They got a lot of resources in there that we might need in our market. Not so much that we want to go and invade them necessarily, but enough to at least utilize the stuff in there. So now, are we attacking still, I suppose, with the small army? Perhaps it's time for me to switch the big armies to advance front. There we go. It's about equal numbers. It's going to be a rough one. We might actually lose this. They had a little bit more troops to begin with. But they are taking casualties slightly faster. It depends a lot on the tactics, but we might win this. And then we can maybe start pushing the enemies out of the war. I mean, Austrians at least out of the war sooner. Capitulation desire is still minus 130. Or 128 to be precise, but that is still going to be a problem. And not living is not doing all that great either. But we're going to have another fighting in here. There's... Oh, we've got 2 battles now. The first one, that one... it's pretty close. We've got a higher kill rate there, though, so we might be able to actually take the advantage soon. Then we've got the other battle over here in the west, which that seems to be a victory. Already equal numbers. We've got higher attack than their defense. We've got aggressive maneuver, though. That could be bad. Oh, there we go. Panic retreat. Good. And then what about the one over here in Austria? That is going to be a victory. North German British League disbanded. Oh. Right then. Old City of Plenty. We'll let them celebrate. Get a few more loyalists. Still got quite a bit of radicals. And it looks like the interest groups are switching around a lot. The influential, no longer influential. Influential, no longer influential. So forth. Right, so Brandenburg is getting the railway. That's going to be 11 weeks. We're actually getting a lot of money right now despite fighting a war. Which is honestly a bit surprising. I'm going to go ahead and reduce the taxes for a moment. Maybe that will fix some of the issues. We can maybe go ahead and put in consumption tax instead for the luxury clothing to cover some of the cost. We've got a decent bit of income still, so that's not too shabby. We're having some engine problems. We need a lot more motor engines. We've got another one being built in Rhineland currently. It's almost completed. We've got some victories. This one's going to be a loss, unfortunately. And what about the one... Yeah, so that was the loss. The one over here in Rhineland, that seems to be a victory. They got less manpower than we do, and we've got, again, slightly better troops. So we might be able to push the front line at least a little bit further in here. But yeah, that is a loss indeed, so we won't really get a lot of ground in here. How's the manpower situation on the front line, I suppose? We got quite a good advantage there. Still about 60,000 advantage. The battle in... here in the west, that is, yeah, that's going to be a victory indeed. So that might be enough to then take control of the state. At least for the most part. Might not be quite good enough. Oh, but there we go. The standard of living is improving a lot now that we reduce the taxes. Oh, Bavaria left it. Okay. Well, I suppose they are fighting the leader, so that's probably one of the reasons. Debates around land voting law stall. Colonel LaSalle has a motion to pass the proposal to a commission of experts to break the deadlock. Can the Treasury bear such an expense? We get 10% boost, but we need to pay a lot per week for 5 years. Put an open call out for any experts. So it's a bit of a gamble. We might get a boost there. Or see if our universities will provide. And we get... You know what? Actually, yeah, we'll take that one. We'll still get a little bit boost in there. It's not a huge one. Ooh, this is a big battle. So how's the Austrian war support at this point? They're probably not looking too great, are they? 31. So they might drop out of the war soon enough. Then we can win our war quite handily. Don't jump, it left it. Okay. I'm guessing the Bavaria leaving the market is going to be a little bit bad. But the problem is probably going to be more in their markets. Like, they won't have most of the stuff that they need now. So they'll... I mean, they might then join Austria, who knows. Does that mean that they're no longer supporting me for the unification, though? Ah, right. Yeah, because they used to be supporting us, but right now, of course, none of those are. We need 23. We only got 16. We lost 4 states because of this war. Oh, there we go. That's a massive battle there. The Austrian army has taken quite a bit of casualties. Oh yeah, they got less than 100,000 men total now. Out of the 250 battalions. That is pretty bad for them. But that does also mean that we are pushing Austrians out of here. Soon enough they will give up. They only got 17 war support. They're losing 4 per week. So just 5 weeks and then they will be out of the war. But unfortunately, that's going to actually have to wait until next episode because we are out of time for this one. So if you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe if you haven't already. I'll check the link down below in the description. But other than that, thank you very much for watching. Until next time, bye bye.